What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nerdy Mark channel. I'm Sid the Nerdy Mark, and today I have your review of NXT and 205 Live. So before we begin, a quick PSA, quick public service announcement. I personally have seen that they have already recorded the next batch of NXT tapings, and I already know of some of the spoilers that are around, that are out and about now, because, the dirt sheets just love to leak out the spoilers, which is why we can't have nice things. I was a victim of getting future episodes of NXT spoiled for me, but of course I'm still going to watch them. But I will not spoil anything here, so please do not worry. And also to everybody who's watching, I would highly encourage you, please do not put spoilers in the comments. I would deeply appreciate it. So yeah, that's just kind of all I wanted to say. But anyway, we're not going to talk spoilers. We're not talking future NXT tapings. Let's just talk about this week's NXT and 205 Live. Here we go. So we are going to start off with NXT as per usual. And it started with Candice LeRae and Io Shirai taking on the Horsewomen, Jessamyn Duke and Marina Shafir, who have some new theme music. It's good. I like it. I think it's a little quiet for them, but it is what it is. I think it's really badass though. LeRae and Duke just start things off. LeRae does take it to the Horsewomen quite a bit. Shafir finally does take control, however, thanks to a distraction by Jessamyn Duke. LeRae getting brutalized by the Horsewomen. As per usual, that's what they do. By the way, I forgot to mention that Shayna Baszler, she's standing up on the entrance ramp, with the title in her hand and everything, and cheering her girls on. So Shafir does kick Shirai off the ropes so that they can continue to beat the crap out of Candice. But of course, Duke does accidentally hit Shafir off of their ropes on their respective side. Then LeRae hits a fantastic enziguri and tags in Io, hits a double axe handle and a tiger feint kick to Duke, which was great. Shirai then kind of does the thing that Shayna Baszler does when she undoes her hair and stomps on your arm. Shirai kind of does that. Baszler gets super pissed, so much so that she comes into the ring and saves her girls, and the brawl just goes backstage for Shayna Baszler and Io Shirai. So this was a decent match. I really did enjoy it. Kind of an explosive start to NXT. It is announced that in 2 weeks' time, Io Shirai and Shayna Baszler will take on each other in a steel cage match. So that should be interesting. I'm looking forward to see where that goes. So I don't usually talk about vignettes, but I thought I'd talk about this one just because he is one of my favorite wrestlers. But next week we are getting the debut of one Damian Priest, the former Punishment Martinez. As a lot of you may or may not know, I really was a huge fan of Punishment Martinez back in Ring of Honor. It's good to see he's on NXT now and that he's finally, going to be utilized. So that it kind of sucks he won't be Punishment Martinez, but then again, Damian Priest just kind of rolls off the tongue a little bit better. So I'm excited to see where this goes. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Brood Edge a little bit. It's like pictures of him, being a little bit dark, but also kind of going into these nightclubs with all these women. So I don't know if he's going to be a dark villain kind of a character, but it's cool. It looks cool. I'm interested to see where this goes. Really excited for Damian Priest's debut next week. And up next, it is time for the first of our two main events. We have Kushida taking on Drew Gulak once again, this time in a submission match. And let me tell you this, I actually did not take any notes for this match. I was just so enthralled in watching these two guys in the ring. It was fantastic, and I would say that this match definitely does top their first one. So I highly encourage you guys to check out this match. Now, I don't want to really even talk spots here. I just want to talk about how great of an athlete these two people are. I think Kushida, in a matter of months, I think he could very much be contesting for the North American title. I can see him be a North American title holder, an NXT title holder. I could see him being, kind of like the next Shinsuke Nakamura, as in when Nakamura was in NXT, not, on the main roster. So Kushida was fantastic. Drew Gulak, again, also shines here. He does a great job, in this match. Really, keeping Kushida on his toes. However, Kushida does prevail. He hits the hoverboard lock quite early on, actually. I think Gulak, because he just trapped out so quick, felt like a very fast match. I do wish that it went on for at least another 5 minutes, but hopefully we get a third match out of these guys. After the match, Kushida did try to show a sign of respect by extending his hand out for a handshake. Gulak kind of brushed it off, kind of shouted some words at Kushida, and then eventually did go ahead and shake his hands. We'll see where this goes. I think that we're getting another match between Kushida and Gulak. However, I would want to see that at the next TakeOver. Great match. Please go check it out if you have not done so. We then get our next main event. It is a tag team match between Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch taking on Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong of the Undisputed Era. Bobby Fish is injured again, so that's fantastic. This time he's injured his arm. That kind of sucks, man. It just sucks how injury prone Bobby Fish has been over the past few months. Just really sucks. Speedy recovery to Bobby Fish. So yeah, Lorcan and O'Reilly start things off. This is a great exchange. I actually would love to see both of these men in singles action. I really want to see a match between O'Reilly and Lorcan. I know my buddy Tim would love to see O'Reilly and Kushida. I mean, hell, Lorcan and Kushida would be good too. But anyway, this is a dream match in my opinion. Both men do exchange a lot of strikes, a lot of kicks, a lot of chops. Burch and Strong finally get involved. They kind of come out. They start beating each other up. Strong does come in and ruins Lorcan with chops and a backbreaker, so that looked really brutal. O'Reilly and Lorcan with another fantastic sequence after that. That was great. We had a huge blockbuster by Oney Lorcan, then tags in Burch, who tags in Burch and takes it to the air, like kind of how he tagged him in. That was really cool. Just really innovative offense and defense from both these teams. Kyle does miss a kick, which allows Burch to hit a headbutt. And then Burch goes for a pin, but O'Reilly gets his shoulder up, and then Danny then converts that into a submission hold. So that was pretty cool. O'Reilly then hits an amazing looking pendulum lariat. If you don't know what that is, that's the move that Dean Ambrose used to do, except he made it look super goofy. Now, I hope Jon Moxley, if he were to adopt this move, makes it look a lot more brutal. Jackson Ryker does finally come out. He distracts the Undisputed Era, and we finally get Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan winning this match. So it looks like we're getting a program between Undisputed Era and the Forgotten Sons. This is exactly what the Sons need to be of prominence in the tag team division. Give them something. If this is a feud, and because this is a feud they could really sink their teeth in, I hope this comes into fruition and that they, really go somewhere with this. So, very good match. Really enjoyed it. But for now, let's move on to 205 Live. 205 Live began with Jack Gallagher. He had requested an opponent from Drake Maverick, who said that he would bring in kind of a surprise. And it is Chad Gable. That's right. SmackDown Live or Monday Night Raw's Chad Gable. I'm not sure. This wild card Freebird crap is really confusing me. Chad Gable has cut off his hair and he looks much leaner and he looks really cool. Tim Farley, my good friend, as I mentioned before, he actually said that he kind of looks like Matt Striker. I would say if Matt Striker thinned down considerably, he could definitely look like Chad Gable. Both men do taunt each other with some innovative offense. This was good. Amazing match, by the way. Really good. Please watch this one as well. Both men hit monkey flips, which was fantastic. That's the name of the move. I'm not making fun of it. Then Gable is thrown into the steel steps, but comes back in at the count of 9. So that was cool. Gallagher then hit 2 consecutive uppercuts. Went for a third one, but Gable converted that into a backslide, which looked amazing. And we had Gallagher with a huge delayed suplex. I think he held Gable up in the air for at least 30 seconds. Maybe a little under 30 seconds. Let's say 25 seconds. That's still pretty impressive. It's longer than I can hold anyone up in the air. Gable then hit 2 Irish whips and then took Jack Gallagher to Suplex City. Then a full Nelson Dragon suplex by Gable into a cover. That was really cool. Lock by Gable, then Jack Gallagher then converted that into a Fujiwara armbar. So that was great. Gable then transitions the armbar into a Tiger Driver. I was like, holy crap, this was just crazy pandemonium stuff. Gallagher then hit a suicide to the outside to Gable because they were both on the outside. Gable suplexes Gallagher and then goes back in. Chad Gable does win finally via countout because Gallagher cannot make the count. So that was interesting. Again, I hope this is not the last we see of these two men. But yeah, this was a fantastic match. I hope Chad Gable is going to stay in 205 Live because, let's face it, they do absolutely nothing with him on the main roster on Raw and SmackDown. So, yeah, if you let Chad Gable just do his thing, look at the kind of matches that he can have with people like Jack Gallagher and, hell, even Oney Lorcan. And I would eventually love to see him face off against Tony Nese for the Cruiserweight title at some point. That would be really cool. So that was a fantastic match, but let's move on to the next one. I'm going to make this one really quick. We did have Singh brothers taking on a couple of jobbers who actually were luchadors, because next week we are having the Lucha House Party come back and take on the Singh brothers. So this is going to be like a practice match for the Singh bros. We do have some offense in by the luchador jobbers, but Singh bros did care a lot more about doing Bhangra dancing than actual wrestling. But finally, Singhs do take over pretty quickly, hit a Bollywood Blast. That's the name of their finisher, their double team finisher, and they win the match. And it actually looks pretty cool, so that was good. But yeah, Singh Bros win. Next week we have Singh Bros versus Lucha House Party. So there you go. And finally, we do have our main event, a fatal four-way match to determine who goes into Stomping Grounds to face off against Tony Nese for the Cruiserweight Championship. This was absolutely amazing. We had Akira Tozawa versus Humberto Carrillo versus Oney Lorcan versus Drew Gulak, who is sporting a new look. Oney Lorcan and Drew Gulak pulling double duty this week. That was pretty cool. Gulak does have a new look, which I dig. It was funny because he was coming out to his old theme music with the little, Gulak for a better 205 Live, and he looked up at it and he just kind of shook his head like, out of disappointment. I think he's probably going to get some new theme music. I'm excited to hear that when that comes around. Drew went straight for Carrillo because, they have some history together. Carrillo then gets a powerful start, but Lorcan does take over. Lorcan does take out Carrillo from the air with an uppercut. I always love Lorcan's anti-air strikes. Those are awesome. Gulak then is adopting a more vicious style than he originally was. He was a lot more technical in the beginning, but now that he's just completely gone mad and crazy and he's just completely unhinged, he's just like, screw this, I'm gonna just kill everybody. And that was good stuff. Huge chops by to Carrillo by Drew Gulak. That was great. Carrillo launched Tozawa onto Gulak, who hits a Hurricane Rana. That was a great looking spot. Lorcan took Carrillo, hit a half and half on him, who landed on Drew Gulak, and he goes for the pin, but Tozawa hit a senton to break up the pin. We had 205 chants for the very first time, and these were some of the most passionate chants I have ever heard. I am so glad that people are finally seeing 205 Live for the product it is. I really hope we finally get more eyes on 205 Live, especially coming this October because, AEW coming in on Tuesdays. I really hope that we have NXT and 205 Live and NXT UK kind of do something to combat All Elite Wrestling. So that would be really cool. Carrillo and Tozawa have a good sequence. They had two great sequences, by the way. And then Lorcan comes in, hits a double blockbuster again. That's just an amazing move right there, the double blockbuster, especially when Lorcan does it. Gulak and Lorcan get into a huge brawl. That was good stuff. Lorcan does get launched on the outside to Tozawa and Carrillo. Daivari comes in and hits Lorcan with a chair. He won the match last week against R.A. Daivari. Gulak does push Humberto off and sends him flying. Like, holy crap, that dude just, watch out for flying objects. Holy crap. And then we finally had Gulak hitting a superplex on Tozawa. Both men kind of pinned each other, so there is a little confusion as to who won because one referee raises Tozawa's hand, one referee raises Gulak's hand. Drake Maverick comes in, and he is trying to figure out who won the match. So I am smelling a triple threat match for Stomping Grounds. Now, before I end this off, I do want to say one quick thing. I personally think, and this is just my opinion, I personally think that 205 Live deserves its own pay-per-view. This roster has been putting on classic after classic every single week, and I feel that it cannot be contained in a 45-minute to 1 hour long show. All these amazing matches, they need a good solid 2 hours. Please give 205 a pay-per-view. Triple H, make it happen. Make a takeover for 205. I don't care, whatever it is, or have something where 205 Live and NXT do come together. I know we have the Worlds Collide tournament and whatnot, but no, I want to see 205 Live have their own pay-per-view. We've had the Cruiserweight Classic. That was amazing. We got some great classics out of that. I want their own pay-per-view. I think they have done a lot to deserve it. This whole roster is extremely talented, and they deserve it. So that's my pitch. Triple H,
give me what I want!
So overall, I thought NXT and 205 Live both were just fantastic shows. I thought they had some great matches throughout. All the matches in NXT and 205 Live were really, really good. And as far as matches of the week go on NXT, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Kushida versus Drew Gulak Part 2. And 205 Live, as much as I love the main event, as much as I love the Fatal 4-Way for the Cruiserweight Championship match at Stomping Grounds, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Jack Gallagher and Chad Gable. Because Chad Gable has finally been able to showcase what he's really capable of. And I love it. I hope we see more of Chad in the future. I hope we finally see him getting a push to the Cruiserweight title at some point. So yeah, I'm going to have my eye on Chad Gable. But that's pretty much it. Those were my matches of the night for both these shows. So that pretty much concludes my review for NXT and 205 Live. Let me know what you guys thought about both shows in the comment section below. Also, one more time, if you do know of any NXT spoilers, please do not post them on the comment section below, because I want everyone to enjoy it as it goes, and we will talk about them as those tapings come out. And if you do post any spoilers, well, I'm going to have to go call Bray Wyatt and get the Fiend on you, so be careful of that. But anyway, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, and tell your friends about the Nerdy Mark. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you so much for your continued support. This is Sid, signing off. You guys take care. Bye-bye.